Imagine this. You are standing at the bottom of a tall mountain. The air is cool and quiet. Above you, dark clouds swirl around the peak. Lightning flashes. Thunder rolls like drums in the distance. You are not alone. Thousands of people stand with you. They are tired. They are scared. They have just escaped from slavery. They walked through a sea that split in half. Now they wait. They wait for one man to come back down from that mountain. His name is Moses. He has been up there for 40 days and 40 nights. No food, no water, just him and the voice of God. Everyone thinks he went up there to get the 10 Commandments. And he did. But that is not all he received. There was something else. Something the world was never supposed to know about. When Moses finally came down that mountain, his face glowed so bright that people could not look at him. He carried 2 stone tablets in his hands. Everyone saw those. But what they did not see was the scroll hidden inside his robe. A scroll written by an angel. A scroll that told the true story of everything. From the very first day the world was made to the last day when time itself will end. That scroll became a book called Jubilees. For hundreds of years people read it, priests studied it, families passed it down. But then something strange happened. Powerful leaders decided the book was too dangerous. It revealed too much. It asked too many questions. It made people think too deeply about things they were supposed to just accept. So they banned it. They erased it from the Bible. They burned copies. They told people to forget it ever existed. But they could not destroy it completely. Deep in the mountains of Ethiopia, hidden in ancient stone churches, a few copies survived. Monks protected them for centuries. They whispered to each other that this book held secrets heaven wanted us to remember. Tonight, you and I are going to open that forbidden book together. We are going to hear the story the way Moses heard it, from the voice of an angel, from the beginning of time to the moment when everything changed. Before we start, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why the world feels so broken? Why do people hurt each other? Why is there so much pain and suffering? The Book of Jubilees has answers. Answers that might surprise you. Answers that might even change the way you see everything. Take a deep breath. Let your body relax. Let your mind become still. Because what you are about to hear is not just a bedtime story. It is a journey back to the very first morning when light broke through darkness, when angels sang, when everything was perfect, and when one small choice changed the fate of every human being forever. If you are ready, let us begin. But wait. Before we go any further, if you love stories like this, stories that help you think and rest at the same time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about bringing you calm, meaningful content for sleep and reflection. We have so many more forgotten stories to share with you. Click subscribe so you never miss one. Now, let us step back in time. Back before your great-grandparents were born. Before countries existed. Before anyone built the first city or spoke the first language. Back to a time when heaven and earth were closer than they are now. Back to the very beginning. Before time began, the 7 days, no one remembers. In the beginning, there was nothing. No light, no sound, no ground to stand on, just darkness everywhere, deep and endless. But then something happened. Someone spoke. And when that voice spoke, the entire universe began. God said, "Let there be light." And light appeared. Not the light from the sun. The sun did not exist yet. This was a different kind of light. It was pure. It was warm. It pushed the darkness away like curtains opening on a stage. That was day 1. On day 2, God made the sky. He separated the waters above from the waters below. He created space, room to breathe, a place where life could begin. The angels watched from heaven. They had never seen anything like this before. They whispered to each other in amazement. On day 3, God gathered the waters together and made dry land appear. Mountains rose, valleys formed, rivers began to flow. Then God spoke again and plants began to grow. Grass, trees, flowers, everything green and alive. Seeds were placed inside each plant so they could make more plants. It was the first system, the first pattern. Everything had order. On day 4, God made the sun, the moon, and the stars. He hung them in the sky like lamps. The sun would rule the day. The moon would rule the night. The stars would mark the seasons and the years. From this moment on, time began to flow. Hours, days, months, years. Time became real. The angels were given jobs. Some angels were told to watch over the sun and make sure it rose every morning. Other angels were given the moon and stars. They became the keepers of time, the guardians of the rhythm of the universe. On day 5, God filled the oceans with fish and the skies with birds. Whales swam in the deep. Eagles soared above the clouds. Every creature had its place. Every animal had a purpose. On day 6, God made animals that walk on land. Lions, elephants, horses, dogs, everything that moves on the ground. And then, at the end of that day, God did something different, something special. He bent down and scooped up dust from the ground. He shaped it with his hands, and he breathed into it. That breath was life. That dust became the first man. His name was Adam. God made Adam in his own image. Not in the way Adam looked, but in the way Adam could think, feel, choose, and love. Then God made a woman from Adam's side. Her name was Eve. Together, they were the first family, the first 2 people to ever walk on earth. God looked at everything he had made, the light, the sky, the oceans, the plants, the animals, Adam and Eve, and he said, "It is very good." On day 7, God rested, not because he was tired, but because the work was finished. He made that day holy. He called it the Sabbath, a day to stop and remember who made everything. Now here is something most people do not know. When Moses was on that mountain, the angel told him this. Every detail of creation was planned. Every star was placed exactly where it needed to be. Every animal was designed for a reason. Even time itself follows a pattern, a rhythm, a heartbeat. The angel said, "Nothing happens by accident. Everything moves in cycles. 7 days, 7 years, 7 times 7 years. These are the sacred rhythms of heaven." That pattern is called a jubilee, 49 years. At the end of every jubilee, there is a year of rest, a year of forgiveness, a year when everything is made new again. That is how God keeps time. That is how heaven measures history. Moses wrote all of this down, but later, when religious leaders read it, they got nervous. If God has a plan for time, then humans cannot control it. If everything is already written, then kings and priests cannot claim to have all the power. So they decided to remove this part of the story from the Bible. But the truth remained, hidden, waiting. Think about this. If God planned every star, every mountain, every river, do you think he forgot about you? Do you think your life is random? Or is it possible that you are part of a bigger story, a bigger plan, just like everything else. Let that thought settle in your mind as you rest. You are not an accident. You are part of the design. And if you are finding peace in this story, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps more people find this channel and discover these forgotten truths. Thank you. Now let us move forward, because after God made everything perfect, something went terribly wrong. The garden and the first mistake. After God made Adam and Eve, he planted a garden, the most beautiful place that ever existed. It was called Eden. Rivers flowed through it. Fruit trees grew everywhere. The air smelled like flowers. Animals walked by peacefully. There was no danger, no fear, no pain. Adam and Eve lived there happily. They had everything they needed. Every morning, God would walk through the garden with them. They would talk. They would laugh. It was perfect. But in the middle of that garden stood two special trees. One was called the tree of life. If you ate from it, you would live forever. The other was called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God gave Adam and Eve one rule, just one. You can eat from any tree in the garden, but do not eat from the tree of knowledge. If you do, you will die. It was a test, not a trick, a test of trust. Would they obey? Would they believe that God knew what was best for them? For a while, everything was fine. But then one day, a voice spoke to Eve. It came from a serpent hiding in the tree. The serpent was not just an animal. It was something darker, something that had once been an angel, but had turned away from God. The serpent said, "Did God really tell you not to eat from any tree?" Eve answered, "We can eat from all the trees except the one in the middle. God said if we eat from that one, we will die." The serpent smiled. "You will not die. God knows that if you eat from that tree, your eyes will be opened. You will become like him. You will know everything." Eve looked at the tree. The fruit looked so good. It was bright and shiny. She thought about what the serpent said. She wanted to be wise. She wanted to know more. So she reached out, picked the fruit, and took a bite. Then she gave some to Adam. He looked at her. He looked at the fruit. He knew it was wrong, but he ate it anyway. The moment they swallowed, everything changed. Their eyes were opened, but not in a good way. Suddenly, they felt something they had never felt before: shame. They looked down and realized they were naked. They grabbed leaves and covered themselves. Then they heard footsteps. God was walking through the garden like he always did. But this time, Adam and Eve hid. They hid behind trees. They were afraid. God called out, "Adam, where are you?" Adam answered, "I heard you coming, and I was afraid because I am naked, so I hid." God said, "Who told you that you were naked? Did you eat from the tree I told you not to eat from?" Adam pointed at Eve. "The woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit." Eve pointed at the serpent. "The serpent tricked me." God looked at all three of them. He was not surprised. He already knew what had happened, but he wanted them to admit it. He wanted them to understand what they had done. Then God spoke to the serpent. "Because you did this, you will crawl on your belly forever. You will eat dust. And one day, a child born from the woman will crush your head." To Eve, God said, "You will have pain when you give birth. Life will be harder for you now." To Adam, God said, "Because you listened to your wife instead of me, the ground is now cursed. You will have to work hard to grow food. You will sweat. You will struggle. And one day, you will return to the dust you came from." Then God made clothes for them out of animal skins, and he sent them out of the garden. He placed angels with flaming swords at the entrance so they could never go back. Adam and Eve stood outside the garden, looking back. Everything they had lost, everything they had thrown away for one piece of fruit. Here is what most people miss about this story. It was never really about the fruit. It was about trust. God was asking, "Do you trust me? Do you believe I know what is best for you?" And they said no. That is the root of every problem in the world. We stop trusting God. We think we know better. We make our own rules. And then we wonder why everything falls apart. But even in that moment of failure, God gave a promise. He said one day, someone would come to fix what Adam and Eve broke. Someone who would defeat the serpent. Someone who would bring people back to the garden. That promise is woven through the entire Book of Jubilees. It is a thread of hope that never breaks. As you think about this story, ask yourself, what are the forbidden fruits in your life? What are the things you know you should not do, but you are tempted by anyway? What voices are whispering to you, telling you that God is holding something back from you? Rest in this truth. God's rules are not meant to control you. They are meant to protect you. If this story is stirring something in your heart, leave a comment below. Tell me what you are thinking. I read every single comment. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. Sometimes the best gift you can give someone is a reminder that they are not forgotten. Now, let us move forward. Because after Adam and Eve left the garden, something even worse happened. The first murder. When brothers turned against each other. Adam and Eve had two sons. The first was named Cain. The second was named Abel. Cain was a farmer. He worked the soil. He planted seeds and grew crops. Abel was a shepherd. He took care of sheep and goats. Both brothers knew about God. Their parents had told them stories about the garden, about the light, about the mistakes they made. Cain and Abel grew up knowing they were supposed to honor God. One day, both brothers decided to bring an offering to God. Cain brought some of the vegetables he had grown. Abel brought the best lamb from his flock. God looked at both offerings. He accepted Abel's gift, but he did not accept Cain's. Why? The Bible does not say exactly why, but many believe it was about the heart. Abel gave his best. Cain just gave something. Abel gave with love. Cain gave out of duty. When Cain saw that God accepted Abel's offering but not his, he became angry. His face turned red. His fists clenched. God saw this and said to Cain, "Why are you angry? If you do what is right, will I not accept you? But if you refuse to do right, sin is waiting at your door. It wants to control you. But you must control it." God was giving Cain a warning. He was saying, "You have a choice right now. You can let go of this anger, or you can let it grow. But if you let it grow, it will destroy you." Cain did not listen. Instead, he went to his brother and said, "Let us go out to the field." Abel agreed. They walked together through the tall grass. The sun was shining. Birds were singing. Everything looked peaceful. But in Cain's heart, darkness was growing. When they were alone, Cain turned to Abel, and in a moment of rage, he attacked him. He struck his brother over and over until Abel stopped moving. Abel's blood soaked into the ground. Cain stood there, breathing hard, looking down at what he had done. His brother, his own blood, dead on the ground. Then God's voice came again. "Cain, where is your brother?" Cain lied. "I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper?" God said, "What have you done? Your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground. Because of this, you will be cursed. The ground will no longer produce food for you. You will wander the earth for the rest of your life." Cain fell to his knees. "My punishment is too great. Everyone who sees me will want to kill me." But God said, "No one will kill you. I will put a mark on you to protect you." And God placed a mark on Cain's forehead so that no one would harm him. Cain left. He walked east, away from his family, away from the land he knew. He built a city far away. He married and had children. But he carried the weight of what he had done for the rest of his life. This was the first murder, the first time a human being took another human life. And it happened between brothers. Why does the Book of Jubilees tell this story in such detail? Because it wants us to understand something important. Sin does not stay small, it grows. What starts as jealousy becomes anger. Anger becomes hatred. Hatred becomes violence. Cain's story is a warning. It is a mirror. We see ourselves in him. We see the times we let bitterness sit in our hearts, the times we compare ourselves to others, the times we think, "Why does God bless them and not me?" And here is the hard truth. If we are not careful, that bitterness can lead us to hurt the people closest to us, not with stones, but with words, with betrayal, with coldness. Think about this as you rest tonight. Is there someone in your life you are angry with? Is there someone you have been avoiding because of jealousy or resentment? What would happen if you let that go? What would happen if you chose forgiveness instead of holding on to the pain? God asked Cain, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And the answer is yes. Yes, you are. We are all responsible for each other. We are all called to love, to protect, to forgive. Before we move on, take a moment. If you are enjoying this journey through the Book of Jubilees, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have more stories like this coming. Stories that challenge you, calm you, and help you see life in a new way. Now let us continue. Because after Cain, the world got even darker. Angels fell from heaven, giants walked the earth, and God had to make a choice. The angels who fell and the giants. They made generations passed after Cain and Abel. People spread across the earth, cities grew, families multiplied. But as time went on, something strange began to happen. The angels who were sent to watch over humanity started to notice something. The daughters of men were beautiful, and some of the angels became distracted. They began to desire what they were never supposed to have. One angel, the leader of this group, was named Semyaza. He gathered other angels and said, "I know what we are about to do is wrong, but if we all do it together, no one can punish just one of us." They made a pact, a promise, and together they left their place in heaven and came down to earth. They took human form, married human women, and had children with them. But these children were not normal. They were giants, enormous beings with incredible strength. They were called the Nephilim. At first, people were amazed. They thought these giants were heroes. They thought they were the sons of gods. But soon, the giants became a problem. They were always hungry. They ate all the animals. When the animals ran out, they started eating people. They destroyed cities. They caused chaos. Fear spread across the earth. The fallen angels also taught humans things they were not supposed to know yet. They taught them how to make weapons, how to use magic, how to create idols. They showed women how to use makeup and jewelry in ways that fed vanity. They showed men how to wage war. Knowledge that should have come slowly, carefully, in the right time, was now being used for destruction. God looked down and saw what was happening. The world he had made with such care was falling apart. Violence was everywhere. People had turned away from him completely. They worshipped the giants. They worshipped the fallen angels. They forgot the one who made them. And God was heartbroken. He sent the archangel Michael to bind the fallen angels. Michael and his army descended. They captured Semyaza and the others, chained them, and cast them into a deep pit in the earth, where they would remain until the final judgment. But what about the giants? God sent the archangels to deal with them too. And in a strange twist, the giants began to turn on each other. They fought, they killed one another, and when they died, their spirits did not go to rest. They became something else, wandering spirits, demons. They still roam the earth today, searching for bodies to inhabit, for minds to torment. When the violence finally ended, the earth was soaked in blood. Cities were destroyed. The ground was cursed. God looked at it all and made a decision. He would start over. He would wash the earth clean. But first, he needed to save one man and his family. A man who still remembered how to pray. A man named Noah. This part of the story is not in most Bibles. It was removed because it made people uncomfortable. It raised too many questions. If angels could fall, does that mean they have free will? If giants existed, why do we not see their bones? If demons are real, how do we fight them? Church leaders decided it was easier to just take this part out. But in the Book of Jubilees, it is all there. Every detail. Here is why this matters. The story of the fallen angels shows us that even those who are close to God can fall if they stop obeying him. It shows us that beauty and power can be dangerous if they lead us away from what is right. And the story of the giants shows us that evil can grow, it can spread, it can multiply, and if we do not stop it early, it can consume everything. But even in the middle of all that darkness, God did not give up. He found one man who was still faithful, and through that one man, he saved the world. Let me ask you this. If the world around you is full of chaos, full of noise, full of temptation, what keeps you grounded? What keeps you from falling? Is it your faith, your family, your values? Hold on to those things, because the world will always try to pull you away. But if you stay rooted in what is good and true, you will not fall. If this story is making you think, drop a comment. I want to know, do you believe in angels? Do you believe in spiritual battles that we cannot see? Let me know what you think. Now, let us meet the man who walked with God and never died. The man who walked with God. Enoch's journey. Among all the people living during the time of the giants, there was one man who was different. His name was Enoch. Enoch was the great-great-great-grandson of Adam. He lived in a time when the whole world was falling apart. But Enoch did not fall apart. He prayed every day. He listened to God. He walked with God, not just in his words, but in the way he lived. One day, God spoke to him. Enoch, I have a job for you. I want you to carry a message to the fallen angels. Enoch was afraid, but he obeyed. God took him on a journey. Enoch was lifted up through the clouds, through the stars, into the heavens themselves. He saw things no other human had ever seen. He saw the throne of God, shining brighter than anything on earth. He saw the angels worshipping. He heard their songs. Then he was brought to a dark place, a deep pit, and there, chained in darkness, were the fallen angels. When they saw Enoch, they cried out, "Please, tell God we are sorry. Ask him to forgive us." Enoch felt pity for them. He went back to God and prayed, "Lord, these angels are asking for mercy. They know they did wrong. Can you forgive them?" God's voice was firm. "Enoch, I cannot forgive them. They knew the law. They broke it on purpose. They chose rebellion. Justice must be done." Enoch bowed his head. He understood. Some choices cannot be undone. Some doors, once closed, cannot be opened again. But God gave Enoch something else. He gave him knowledge. He showed him the past and the future. He showed him how the world began and how it would end. He showed him the cycles of time, the Jubilees, the rise and fall of nations. Enoch wrote everything down. His writings became a book, the Book of Enoch, and later, parts of it were included in the Book of Jubilees. Then something amazing happened. Enoch did not die. At the age of 365, God took him. One moment he was on earth, the next moment he was gone. He walked with God so closely that God just brought him home. Enoch's story teaches us something powerful. You can live in a dark world and still be a light. You can be surrounded by evil and still choose good. You do not have to follow the crowd. You do not have to compromise. Enoch's life was short by ancient standards, but it was full. He mattered. His prayers mattered. His obedience mattered. And when the time came, he did not have to face death. He walked straight into the arms of God. Now let me ask you, are you walking with God, or are you just walking near him? There is a difference. Walking with someone means you are going in the same direction. You are listening. You are following. Think about that tonight as you rest. Next, we come to the story everyone knows, but the Book of Jubilees tells it in a way you have never heard before. The story of Noah and the flood. Noah and the Great Reset. After Enoch was taken to heaven, the world got worse. Violence filled the earth. People did whatever they wanted. They forgot about God completely. But there was one man who did not forget. His name was Noah. Noah was a farmer. He was a quiet man. He had a wife and 3 sons. He was not rich. He was not famous. But he had something rare. He had faith. One day, God spoke to him. "Noah, I am going to destroy the earth with a flood. Everything will be wiped away. But I want to save you and your family. I want you to build an ark." An ark is a giant boat. God gave Noah exact measurements. It had to be 450 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 45 feet high. 3 levels. A door on the side, a window at the top. Noah started building. He cut down trees. He sawed planks. He hammered nails. Day after day, year after year, people walked by and laughed. "Noah, what are you doing? There is no water here. You are wasting your time." But Noah kept building. He did not argue. He just worked. It took him 120 years to finish the ark. 120 years. Finally, the day came. God told Noah, "Bring your family into the ark, and bring 2 of every animal, male and female." Suddenly, animals started coming. From the forests, from the mountains, from the deserts. Lions walked next to lambs. Birds flew into the ark. Elephants, giraffes, snakes, everything. They came in pairs, just like God said. Then Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives went inside. God closed the door behind them. For 7 days, nothing happened. The sky was clear. People outside kept laughing. Then the rain started. First, just a few drops, then a downpour. Then it felt like the sky itself was falling. Water poured from the clouds. The ground cracked open, and water burst from below. The people who had been laughing started screaming. They ran to higher ground. They pounded on the ark, begging to be let in. But it was too late. The door was closed. The water rose, higher and higher. It covered the houses. It covered the trees. It covered the mountains. Everything was underwater. Inside the ark, Noah and his family heard the storm. They heard the cries, and they prayed. They prayed for 40 days and 40 nights while the rain fell. When the rain finally stopped, the earth was silent. The ark floated on a vast, endless ocean. There was no land, no people, no cities, just water. For 150 days, the water stayed high. Then, slowly, it began to go down. The ark came to rest on a mountain called Ararat. Noah sent out a raven. It flew back and forth but did not return. Then he sent out a dove. The dove came back because it could not find a place to land. A week later, he sent the dove out again. This time, it came back with an olive branch in its beak. Noah smiled. There was land. There was life. When the ground was finally dry, God said, "Come out of the ark." Noah and his family stepped outside. They breathed fresh air. They saw the sun. They were alive. The first thing Noah did was build an altar. He thanked God. He did not complain about what he had lost. He did not ask why it had to happen. He just gave thanks. And God made a promise. "I will never flood the earth again. As a sign, I will put a rainbow in the sky. Every time you see it, remember my promise." Then God said something interesting. "Be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth again. But remember, you are starting over. Do not make the same mistakes." The Book of Jubilees says that Noah divided the earth among his 3 sons. Shem got the land of the Middle East. Ham got Africa. Japheth got Europe and Asia. And from these 3 sons, all the nations of the world came. But even after the flood, people still struggled. They still sinned. They still forgot God. That is the sad truth of the human heart. We need constant reminders. We need reset after reset. But God is patient. He keeps giving chances. Think about this. What needs to be flooded in your life? What needs to be washed away? What old habits, old anger, old pain needs to be left behind so you can start fresh? Now, let us move forward to one of the most powerful stories in the Book of Jubilees. The story of a man who was asked to do the impossible. Abraham's impossible test. Many years after Noah, there was a man named Abraham. He lived in a city full of people who worshipped idols, statues made of stone and wood. But Abraham did not believe in those idols. He believed in the one true God. And one day, God spoke to him. "Leave your home. Leave your family. Go to a land I will show you. I will make you into a great nation." Abraham obeyed. He packed his things, took his wife Sarah, and started walking. He did not know where he was going. He just trusted God. Years went by. God promised Abraham that he would have many descendants. But Abraham and Sarah had no children. They were too old. Then, when Abraham was 100 years old and Sarah was 90, God gave them a son. They named him Isaac. It was a miracle. Abraham loved Isaac more than anything. He watched him grow. He taught him about God. Isaac was the future, the promise. But then God tested Abraham. He said, Take your son, your only son, the one you love, and go to the mountain. Offer him as a sacrifice." Abraham's heart shattered. Sacrifice his son, the son he waited his whole life for. But Abraham trusted God. Early the next morning, he woke up Isaac. He packed wood. He took a knife and fire. They walked together up the mountain. Isaac asked, "Father, we have fire and wood, but where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" Abraham's voice trembled. "God will provide the lamb, my son." When they reached the top, Abraham built an altar. He placed the wood on it. Then he tied Isaac's hands. Tears ran down his face. Isaac did not fight. He trusted his father. Abraham raised the knife. Just as he was about to bring it down, a voice shouted from heaven, "Abraham, stop. Do not harm the boy. Now I know you fear God. You were willing to give me everything." Abraham looked up. Tears of relief poured down his face. In the bushes nearby, he saw a ram caught by its horns. God had provided a sacrifice. Abraham untied Isaac, hugged him, and offered the ram instead. God said, "Because you did not hold back your son, I will bless you beyond measure. Your descendants will be as many as the stars, and through your family, all nations will be blessed." This story is one of the most intense in the entire Bible. And the Book of Jubilees gives even more detail. It says that Satan challenged God. Satan said, "Abraham only loves you because you gave him Isaac. If you take Isaac away, Abraham will curse you." And God said, "No, Abraham will still trust me." So this was not just a test for Abraham. It was a test to prove something to the forces of darkness. And Abraham passed. What can we learn from this? Sometimes God asks us to let go of the thing we love most, not because he wants to hurt us, but because he wants to see if we trust him more than we trust the gift. Are you holding on to something so tightly that it has become your God? A relationship, a job, a dream? What would happen if you opened your hands and said, "God, I trust you. Even if I lose this, I will still follow you"? That is the kind of faith that changes everything. Now we move forward to the man who stood at the center of the Book of Jubilees. The man who carried this story down from the mountain. Moses. Moses and the burning truth. Moses was born during a terrible time. The people of Israel had been slaves in Egypt for 400 years. They built cities. They made bricks. They were beaten. They cried out to God. Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, was afraid the Israelites would become too strong. So he ordered every baby boy to be thrown into the river. When Moses was born, his mother hid him for 3 months. When she could not hide him anymore, she made a basket, put him inside, and placed him in the river. Pharaoh's daughter found him. She took him into the palace and raised him as her own son. Moses grew up as a prince, but he knew he was different. He knew his real people were the slaves outside the palace walls. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating an Israelite. Moses looked around. No one was watching. He struck the Egyptian and killed him. Then he buried the body in the sand. The next day, Moses tried to stop 2 Israelites from fighting. One of them said, "Who made you our judge? Are you going to kill me like you killed that Egyptian?" Moses realized everyone knew what he had done. Pharaoh heard about it and wanted to kill him. So Moses ran. He ran into the desert and became a shepherd. For 40 years, he lived in the wilderness. He married, he had children. He thought his life was over. But one day, while he was watching sheep near a mountain, he saw something strange. A bush was on fire, but it was not burning up. He walked closer. Then a voice called out, "Moses, take off your sandals. You are standing on holy ground." Moses froze. The voice continued, "I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have seen my people suffering in Egypt. I am sending you to bring them out." Moses was terrified. "Who am I to go to Pharaoh? I am nobody." God said, "I will be with you." Moses went back to Egypt. He stood before Pharaoh and said, "Let my people go." Pharaoh laughed. "No." So God sent plagues. The water turned to blood. Frogs covered the land. Gnats, flies, boils, hail, locusts, darkness. 10 plagues in total. Finally, on the night of the 10th plague, the angel of death passed through Egypt. Every firstborn son died, except in the homes of the Israelites. They had marked their doors with lamb's blood, and the angel passed over them. Pharaoh's son died that night, and Pharaoh finally said, "Go, leave, take your people, and go." The Israelites left Egypt, but when they reached the Red Sea, Pharaoh changed his mind. His army chased them. The people were trapped, water in front, army behind. But Moses raised his staff. The sea split open. The people walked through on dry ground. When the army tried to follow, the water crashed down on them. The Israelites were free. This is the story everyone knows. But what most people do not know is what happened next. Moses led the people to Mount Sinai, and there, on that mountain, he received more than just the 10 Commandments. He received the Book of Jubilees. An angel appeared and told him the entire history of the world, from the beginning to the end, and Moses wrote it all down. Why? So that future generations would know. God has a plan. He has always had a plan. And no matter how dark things get, the plan is still moving forward. Now let us go to the final chapters, the part of the story that ties everything together, the sea that opened and the book that closed. When Moses stood on Mount Sinai, the angel showed him something incredible, a vision of time itself. He saw the past, the present, and the future all at once. The angel said, "Everything you have seen is recorded in the book of time. It is kept in heaven. And one day, at the end of all things, it will be opened, and everyone will see that God's plan was perfect." Moses asked, "Will people believe this?" The angel said, some will not, but those who have ears to hear will hear." Then the angel gave Moses a warning. In the future, people will try to erase this book. They will say it is not true. They will say it is dangerous, but you must write it down anyway. So Moses did. He wrote the Book of Jubilees. He wrote about creation, about the fall, about the flood, about Abraham, about the covenants, about the cycles of time. For centuries, people read it. But then, as the angel predicted, it was removed from the Bible. Religious leaders said it asked too many questions. It made God seem too mysterious. It gave too much power to angels. But a few copies survived, in Ethiopia, in hidden caves, in the hands of monks who refused to let it die. And now, you are hearing it. Why they hid this story from us? So why was the Book of Jubilees banned? Let us be honest. It challenged authority. It said that time belongs to God, not to kings or priests. It revealed too much about angels. It said some angels fell. It said spiritual battles are real. It told people that they could have a relationship with God without needing a middleman. And most importantly, it said that God's plan was already written. No human institution could change it. That made powerful people uncomfortable, so they erased it. But here is the truth. You cannot erase what is written in heaven. You cannot hide what God wants revealed. And maybe, just maybe, this story is coming back now because the world needs it. Because people are tired of being told what to think. They want to know the truth for themselves. If you made it this far, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying curious. If this story moved you, share it. If it challenged you, leave a comment. If it gave you peace, hit subscribe. Because there are more forgotten stories to tell, and you deserve to hear them. Now close your eyes, let your mind rest, and know this: you are part of a story bigger than you can imagine, and the one who wrote that story loves you more than you will ever know. Sleep well.